I was under the impression that we were done talking about Bud Light, but here we are.
Transpired, so I patiently waited for things to get better. But surprise, they haven't really. And I was waiting for the brand to reach out to me, but they never did. And for months now, I've been scared to leave my house. I have been ridiculed in public. I've been followed. And I have felt a loneliness that I wouldn't wish on anyone.
And just look how happy he is.
Like somebody's a little bit jilted, Dylan, they used the gimmick to try to sell the product, and obviously it backfired on them, and now Anheuser-Busch obviously has no more use for Dylan. Then again, at the same time, though, I can't blame Anheuser-Busch for making this decision. Don't worry, we'll get to Brendan Whitworth here in a second and how it is that Brendan Whitworth went on CBS this morning and basically decided to lay all the problems at the feet of the customers who, quite frankly, don't want to buy that product because obviously they use Dylan Mulvaney to help push that product, and everybody, of course, has had enough of the whole Pride thing. Even though the month of June is, well, technically tomorrow is the last day of the month of June, I'd have to say that this Pride month did not go very well for the Pride people and the left. But don't worry, we'll talk about that more towards the end of the video. So, as you guys have already heard from me, obviously Dylan is a little bit upset, so let's let him tell you what's going on.
And you might be thinking, Dylan, why bring it up now? I'm bringing it up because what transpired from that video was more bullying and transphobia than I could have ever imagined. And I should have made this video months ago, but I didn't. And I was scared, and I was scared of more backlash, and I felt personally guilty for what transpired. So I patiently waited for things to get better. But surprise, they haven't really. I have been ridiculed in public. I've been followed. And I have felt a loneliness that I wouldn't wish on anyone. And I'm not telling you this because I want your pity. I am telling you this because if this is my experience from a very privileged perspective, know that it is much, much worse for other trans people. For a company to hire a trans person and then not publicly stand by them is worse, in my opinion, than not hiring a trans person at all, because it gives customers permission to be as transphobic and hateful as they want. And the hate doesn't end with me. It has serious and grave consequences for the rest of our community. And we're customers too. I know a lot of trans and queer people who love beer, and I have some lesbian friends who could drink some of those haters under the table. But to turn a blind eye and pretend everything is okay, it just isn't an option right now. And you might say, but Dylan, I don't want to get political. Babe, supporting trans people, it shouldn't be political. There should be nothing controversial or divisive about working with us. And I know it's possible because I've worked with some fantastic companies who care. But caring about the LGBTQ plus community requires a lot more than just a donation somewhere during Pride Month. And all this to say, bottom line is that if you follow me, if I've made you smile, if you care about me, I need you to care about every trans person. And I need you to support us, and I need you to stand by us. And hey, it's still Pride Month. So,
Dylan, last I checked, you guys were coming for our children. Also, something else too, it's not exactly been a good Pride Month for these people, so him hanging on to one day is kind of well, let's just say that I would say that it's weird, but it feels to me like maybe he's trying to set something up. Don't worry, I'll get to that here in a second. But last I checked, you guys were trying to come for our children, so please forgive us if we're not that enthused about you there, buddy. Yeah, after seeing what you guys just saw, it wouldn't surprise me if a lawsuit does not show up maybe a year from now, maybe even sooner. My initial thinking here is that Dylan Mulvaney is trying to play the victim, so that way maybe Dylan Mulvaney can, I don't know, maybe file a lawsuit for that maybe file a lawsuit on Anheuser-Busch. I just figure I would throw that out there. But then again, though, at the same time, though, I don't know if there's an actual contract out there. But I did hear this thing about Anheuser-Busch and Maybelline, which I think is very, very weird because normally they don't market makeup with beer, and they usually don't use a trans influencer to do so. Dude, we're not mad with you. Okay, we understand who you are. We understand what you stand for. We know what the hell you're okay with. Don't worry. We haven't liked you since you came around, okay? We really and truly never have. But then again, though, at the same time, though, you know, we kind of realize that you're just like the rest of the people on the left. Useful idiots. Obviously, that right there is what the hell you are. And apparently, Dylan has not yet figured that out. But then again, though, he probably is starting to figure that out. Then again, though, at the same time, though, we can only hope that we don't hear on the news media that Dylan doesn't become a statistic. I can't really say it out loud what the hell it is. YouTube will probably pull me off the platform. But then again, at the same time, I just figured I'd go ahead and throw that out there. Don't worry, I'll leave links in the description box. So Dylan is obviously a little upset. If anything, though, the people are a little bit more upset with Anheuser-Busch for using you to market towards an extremely young audience, an audience that, quite frankly, is not even allowed to drink yet, seeing how Dylan's primary follower base is under the age of 21. No, we can't blame Anheuser-Busch for finally making somewhat of a good decision, including firing the two yahoos who actually pushed Dylan Mulvaney or had the gall to use Dylan in the first place. These people obviously were not very bright. But at the same time, though, yeah, all you had to do, man, was just come on out and actually apologize to people. That right there being Brendan Whitworth with the old hats at Anheuser-Busch, and admit that you, quite frankly, made a mistake. But then again, though, you didn't want to do that. And, of course, now you've got to go out of your way to go on some form of apology tour. Here's the first part of it.
Has moved away from beer, and the conversation has become divisive. And Bud Light really doesn't belong there. Bud Light should be all about bringing people together. And there's been impact on the business, and I think that's publicly covered on Bud Light specifically.
Yeah, so what was your intention? Take us to the beginning. What was your intention? What were you all trying to do here? And you've done this before, these promotional campaigns.
Yeah, it was, just to be clear, it was a gift, and it was one can. But for us, you know, as we look to kind of the future and we look to moving forward, we have to understand the impact that it's had. And like I said, you know, that impact has taken place. But it's the impact on our employees, the impact on our consumers, and as well, the impact on our partners. And I think one thing that I'd love to make extremely clear is that impact is my responsibility. And as the CEO, everything we do here, I'm accountable for.
Given the moment we're in, this moment in America with trans issues at the top of a Republican social or conservative political agenda, knowing what you know now, if you could go back, would you send this can to this one person again?
There's a big social conversation taking place right now, and big brands are right in the middle of it. And it's not just our industry or Bud Light. It's happening in retail. It's happening in fast food. And so for us, what we need to understand is, deeply understand and appreciate, is the consumer and what they want, what they care about, and what they expect.
We're listening. We hear you. What did you hear, and how has it affected your employees? I'm curious about how they're feeling and how they're dealing with all of this.
Our employees, we have 65,000. If you look at the 18,000 Anheuser-Busch employees and you look at the 47,000 Anheuser-Busch wholesaler employees, and they're full of pride and they're full of commitment. And so it's really a privilege and it's humbling to have the opportunity to lead the organization. When you say listening, you know, I've been out to many of the impacted markets. My team has been out to many of the impacted markets. And over the last month, we've talked to over 100,000 consumers. And their feedback is very clear.
What is it?
The feedback is to reinforce what Bud Light has always meant to them, which is good times, goodwill, and easy enjoyment. And we have that all packed inside of our summer campaign that we launched last week. We're in the middle of the NFL. I know Nate's not here, but we're in the middle of our NFL campaign that'll be out in a few weeks. It's right there. And I think the fact remains that millions and millions of consumers enjoy Bud Light each and every day.
But
and
they're
they do
still mad, though, Brendan, because the sales have dropped. How are you handling that? I mean, as CEO, I want to know what this was been like for you when you've had so much vitriol on all sides. Your sales are dropping. People, you know, we have people firing guns at Bud Light cans. I mean, it's just gotten really off the chain, crazy.
Yeah.
So how are you grappling with that, handling that?
I think it's the impact honestly on the employees that weighs most on me. But again, as I mentioned, seeing the pride and the commitment that they have working on behalf of a 165-plus-year-old American institution is what gives us energy as we look to move forward and focus on what we do
focus
best.
on the people behind the beer.
Yep.
They've faced, confrontations just for driving a Bud Light truck. If you're a distributor, you face confrontations for selling the beer.
And they're
there have been
independently
bomb
owned,
threats.
which is
The
important.
LAPD had to do a sweep through a brewery in Los Angeles, right? This is all
Yeah.
happening. So when you have these conversations with these folks, I mean, I imagine some frank words are exchanged. They're upset. What do you say back, and is there any financial assistance to them?
Well, we announced a couple weeks ago or last week, we are announcing investment for our frontline employees and their employment, as well as financial support for our wholesalers.
Has that started?
That has started.
The money's going out. Wow.
And when you look at the organization, I mentioned it's 65,000 people when you put it all together. And if you extend it even a little bit further, it includes American farmers, the folks that make our high quality ingredients. And
I've been to those farms.
the campaign is all about celebrating them.
Yeah.
And again, these are farmers, these are brewery workers, these are drivers, merchandisers, sales reps, everybody that brings our industry to life and our business to life each and every day, and it's what makes it tick.
So how much is this marketing boo-boo, whatever you want to call it, costing Bud Light in the end, with the drop in sales, with the financial assistance, with the new ad campaign? I mean, you roll all that together, it sounds like tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars?
We're focusing on investing behind the brand right now. So we're actually increasing the investment on Bud Light 3 times this year as we move forward.
I know
So
you say you're
additionally to
moving
investing to
forward,
our-
and I think that's the right attitude. I get it. But what was the most difficult part for you navigating? You've been CEO for the past 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. What has this been like for you?
It's been, what's weighed on me the most has been, as I mentioned,
Your employees.
the employees.
A little more gray in the beard?
But you
A
are.
little more,
we
yes,
should
but I
point
think it's
out
been coming
that
for a
you're-
couple years already, even before this.
Brendan, we should point out that you're a former United States Marine, and you were also at the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA.
Correct.
So you know a little bit about stress,
Yeah.
just a tiny bit.
a little bit.
How did you go from the CIA to Anheuser-Busch?
I thought the highest
I'll say the conversation has definitely shifted. I mean, I thought you guys were all about just selling beer, selling products. But then again, though, you guys decided to put yourselves inside the culture war. And now, obviously, you guys are reaping let's just say you guys are reaping all the discontent from your customer base. Bruh, you make a product, you make beer. We don't want our beer to get political. Miller Lite then turned right back around, did the exact same thing. I mean, dude, you guys have lost, right around $30-some-odd billion. You've actually got to sell your beer this 4th of July at a discount, pretty much free. And obviously this right here is not going to help your business out. The fact of the matter is this right here. We chose to make an example of you. All right, that is exactly what the hell happened. Now, Brendan, if you want to be upset about that and all that crazy stuff there too, if you want to get upset, him and her, which by the way, he's obviously putting on a front and he's obviously trying to play the victim. You guys saw all 4.5 minutes of that. I'm pretty sure you guys can see exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to use his employees as a prop. Well, my employees are obviously bothered, and by the way, I feel for the employees, but I also remember when this entire boycott started, a lot of Anheuser-Busch employees, those who actually put the product on the shelf, they were doing TikToks, they were doing Twitter videos, and they were posting it, and they were actually railing against the company for the dumb decision that they made. Fact of the matter is, Brendan, you did this stuff right here to yourself. And guys, I understand that very last part, that very last part right there that you guys heard about him being a Marine. Guys, look, I'm prior service Marine, all right? As a matter of fact, I'll start wearing my Wounded Warrior Project frontwards so that way I don't look like such a child from time to time. People have told me that. Okay, here's the deal, man. I have mad respect for a fellow Marine, but here's the problem, though, dude. When your brother's wrong, your brother's wrong, all right? However, I do find it very interesting that he's been there for 2 years, and he's also formerly part of a 3-letter agency. Just makes me wonder exactly what the whole purpose of this. You see, guys, I think the whole purpose here was designed to get people not to buy their product, and quite frankly, I don't blame them. I haven't drank an Anheuser-Busch product, or at least Bud Light, since 2017. I haven't wanted Bud Light. Quite frankly, Bud Light lost me, to tell you the truth, and I've already told you guys the story. They began to lose me right around the time they did the whole Dilly Dilly ads and the whole Bud Night thing. It was cringe as hell. I mean, Bud Light, by the way, was always the brand that was supposed to be the funnier brand, but then you turn right back around and you get completely cringeworthy. I'm probably not going to want to buy your product, not to mention the fact that it felt like the formula, the beer itself tasted a little bit differently. Then you sit back and you think on it, you wait a little while, and next thing you know, you got Seth Rogen out here, the same guy who blasted Chris Kyle after Chris Kyle died. American hero. You start putting him in ads. Then you put Amy Schumer in ads. And next thing you know, you start talking about women's equal pay. You start talking about gay marriage and crap like that there. And then you use Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people were already starting to see the writing on the wall. I just think that Dylan Mulvaney was just ultimately the spark that finally, or I would say Dylan Mulvaney was the explosion that absolutely destroyed your company. I feel for the employees. Trust me, I do. I've worked a lot of crap-in jobs. I've worked a lot of very, very low-paying jobs. I've worked a lot of jobs that don't require a lot of skill. I've had to take a job that, quite frankly, I did not want. I feel for them 100%. But I don't think it's fair to go to the consumer and say that you're the ones who are at fault, which, by the way, he may not have actually explicitly said that, but he was definitely implying that. That's definitely what the hell was trying to come across. You guys see the one in the blue suit with the glasses on? He was the one who was the most hard on everybody else. Oh, these conservatives are very, very bad. Oh, you're getting a lot of right-wing black backlash, a lot of right-wing heat. By the way, Brendan Whitworth is not exactly what we call in a very good situation. You see, Anheuser Busch donates to both Republicans and Democrats. They donate to Republicans more often. I said before in the previous video that Republican politicians right now who are considering taking money from Anheuser Busch may want to reconsider that decision. And that decision is, do you want to take money from Bud Light? Do you want to take money from Anheuser Busch? I mean, look, man, what's the old saying? You got to flush the fakes from your ranks? Like, come on, dude. Look, this is where I'm going to end the video at. All you had to do, man, was do a commercial, disavow Dylan, say we made a mistake, we apologize. This is not what our brand is about. Our brand is not about politics. We did something, tell the truth about it, come on out, say you did it, apologize for it, and most people would have eventually forgiven you. And when they picked up a Bud Light, it would just become a good old-fashioned joke. They'd still drink it. They would just say that Bud Light went through a gay phase, and they went through a phase where White Claw was suddenly more masculine. I just figure I would throw that out there. Either way, though, this company is officially dead, and quite frankly, I don't want to talk about these fools any damn more. Guys, John Claymore here. If you like the content, please hit the like button, subscribe. If you feel like I've earned your subscription, please hit the notifications bell so that way you guys are notified when my content comes out. Please leave a comment in the comment section. I'll see you guys later.